Hello everyone, it's Mel here. How are you doing? In today's video, I am going to ask you whether or not you feel like you have a fat person inside you. The reason why I ask this is because I have come across countless people who thinks that they have a fat person inside them. Some even refer to that part of them as the squealing pig, or the piggy inside of them, or the monster inside of them. If this is resonating with you in some way and these are the thoughts that you're having, you might find this video interesting, because I'm going to tell you the truth, what's really inside you. And the truth is, you haven't got a fat person inside you. You haven't got a monster inside you. I'm just pausing there for a moment because I am outside in nature with not in nature, but outside, and it's a little bit noisy here. So how am I so confident to say that you haven't got a fat person inside you and you haven't got a monster inside you? Because having worked with hundreds of clients, mainly in binge eating and food addictions and compulsions, when we actually got to the nitty-gritty of things, the root of the reasons why they have these compulsions, these unhealthy relationships to food, it is never ever about the food. Because I am one of the bluntest person that you'll probably ever meet, if you ever meet me in your life. I mean, if you meet any of my friends, any people that know me, I don't beat around the bush. I say it how it is. And if there was one client, sorry, I'm pausing there, it's like a van. Oh my God, it's so quiet here. And then suddenly all these cars decide to drive nearby. So anyway, I'm going to continue and hopefully they're not going to rev up the whole of my live. So I'm just experimenting at the moment with video. So the reason why I am so confident that it's not about food and is because of the direct experience that I've had with clients. If I had one person that actually we found the root cause was actually the food itself, I would say, yeah, there is a fat person in you somewhere trying to get out. But I can put my hand on my heart, based on hundreds of successful people who've overcome addictions with food and binge eating and any compulsions, and that it's never ever about the food. And if you think about it logically as well, if it was about the food, then why don't diets work? Why are diets one of the biggest money making schemes out there? Because if it was the food, then there wouldn't be a problem. Hello Charles, thank you for joining. So let me say that again. If it was the food, then what's the problem? Wouldn't we have resolved it by now? And another thing, one of the things that popped in my mind is that honestly, there's a bit of wind now, so I have to change the camera slightly to make sure it's not going to fall over in the middle of talking. So one of the things that come up after the other working with clients is that anything that happens to us, whether it's sad, not happens to us, but all the emotions that we experience in our lives, maybe it's anxiety, sadness, anger, frustration, our compulsions, addictions, including working yourself down to the ground. I would say the behaviors that we usually run away from These are the biggest misconceptions ever. And the reason why I say this is because we're running away from our amazing minds' strategies. Because, and what I mean is, like, what I mean by saying strategies is that we have, all of us were born to do one thing, and that is to survive and to keep us in this equilibrium, to help us live in safety, to make us be happy. And our minds are continuously doing this every second of the day, of our waking day in our lives. And what happens is it evaluates everything that we do from second to second, and it's checking to see whether our environment is safe for us, whether it's safe for us. And most of the time it's also checking whether it's making us happy, because if we're happy, that means we're safe, and that is the only thing that we do in our lives. Everything else, activities and that, is just stuff to support that fundamental thing of keeping us alive. So if you've suffered from binge eating for years and years and years, it's not because it's the food, it's because somewhere, somehow in our lives, or in your lives if you're suffering it from binge eating or any other destructive behaviors or perceived destructive behaviors right now, is because it's learnt that this is somehow keeping you safe. Bizarre as it seems, but everything that we do, even the harmless stuff, has a good intention. We don't intentionally hurt ourselves, because when I've worked with clients and when we delve right into the problem, it always has a reason. Let's say, for example, you carry a lot of weight and you think it's like you're self-sabotaging yourself. You're thinking, why would I want to carry weight? When we've gone back and tried to find the root of this, the reason is protection commonly comes up. And you've probably heard this that time and time again, but knowing it and actually aligning your subconscious mind and your living self is two different things. Do you ever think like you know everything that needs to learn about how to eat, how to be healthy? You do everything. You meditate, you breathe, you exercise, and yet you've got this underlying feeling that something's not right. That's because of the dislodge of unalignment with you consciously trying to solve everything, and then what is actually lying underneath. Many people can recover and can live a life without having to go deep inside, but it is a constant struggle. It is a constant struggle. You can do it, but for the average person, and for people like me who suffered from 22 years of back-to-back addictions, it was hard. It's freaking hard to keep thinking and meditate and journaling and breathing and doing all these meal plans. It's freaking exhausting, because you're trying to logically do this when everything else is underneath. If this is you, it might be time that it's a time to take that next step. Find out what it is that's really going on underneath. Because you are not, or shall I say, you do not have a fat person inside you. You have a very, very smart part inside you who is constantly trying to do something good for you. You're just finding it hard to listen to it at the moment because you're caught in that world storm of stuff to keep you going. Whether it's meditating, breathing, and all this stuff is great. But there comes a time, especially if you've been suffering for years and decades, where you think, what the friggin' hell is happening here? Why isn't it penetrating? Why isn't it going down? And that's where you need to call out for help. People have got the tools to guide you to that place where you can have that direct communication with that part who is trying to do something great for you. And I tell you what, once you and that part, who is not the fat person, who is not the squealing pig, who is not the one who's trying to sabotage you, but in actual fact is your biggest friend, your guardian angel, your deep inner wisdom, whatever you want to call it. Once you align yourself with that part, oh my word, transformation happens just like that. And if you want to see what kind of transformation you can expect, you can go onto my YouTube channel, Mel H. Lopez, Disordered Eating Hypnotist. And you can check out the latest videos there to see one of my clients who suffered from over 50 years of constant food thoughts and binge eating. And guess what? It was never about the food. Now her problem is she doesn't fancy eating anymore. So, she's having to relearn what she actually likes, because now we've got rid of whatever the problem was. She's finding it difficult to actually fancy anything. So anyway, I hope that maybe whatever I said today has got some cogs going, because I don't go on videos to tell you how to eat, when to eat, what regime to eat, how, clean eating and all this jazz, because I believe every single one of you are smart enough. You've been on this planet long enough to know how to eat, when to eat, what meal plans are, what is healthy, what's not, what you like, what you don't like. That's not my job. My job is to maybe stimulate that inner wisdom inside you. And I know every single one of you has got that. And I want to reassure you, you haven't got a fat person inside you. You haven't got something that's sabotaging you. There is something good inside you is trying to communicate with you, and that's all it is. So I think I'll finish on that note. And if you haven't met me before, I am Mel. Hello, and I am a rapid recovery rebel, because I help hundreds of people break free from years or decades of binge eating without all the status quo traditional therapy like talk therapy, meditation, tapping, journaling, and all that jazz. I help people who just had enough and done all that and are ready to let go of all that crap for good. So until next time, you know what I'm going to say, keep strong. Bye.